Okay, let's talk about creatine because I keep seeing a lot of chatter, especially from women, asking, should I take creatine? Is it safe? Is it going to make me gain weight? Is it going to make me bulky? And I really think a lot of the fear is coming from not actually understanding what creatine is. But before we dive in, if you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer. I've been on a GLP1 treatment since February 22nd, 2025, and I am currently down 95 pounds. I am not a doctor. I am not a therapist. I am not a nutritionist. I am simply someone who has been walking this GLP1 journey, and I really hate calling it a journey because that always feels like there's an end destination when this is actually a lifelong treatment that I have chosen for myself. I have been learning for nearly a year and about GLP-1 medications. I've been researching, experimenting mostly with my own body, and trying to protect my metabolism along the way. And I share what I learn so that if you are starting your GLP-1 journey or you are somewhere in the middle, you have one more tool in your toolbox. Always consult with your healthcare provider before starting any supplement to make sure it's appropriate for your specific needs. So what I choose for myself may not be what you need for you. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, creatine is not some synthetic muscle drug. In the same way that GLP-1s are not just weight loss drugs. They are medications to treat a metabolic reoccurring disease, and that disease is overweight and obesity. Creatine is something, number one, that your body already makes. It's in your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas. They all naturally produce creatine from amino acids like arginine, glycine, and I'm probably going to hack up this particular one, methionine. I think I said that correctly, but methionine. So arginine, glycine, methionine. Those are the amino acids that make up creatine. And again, they are synthesized, created in your liver, kidneys, and pancreas. About 95% of it is stored in your skeletal muscle. About 5% is stored in your brain. And so its primary role is to help regenerate ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That is the lightning, if you will, the lightning bolt, the electricity, the generator in your cells that create energy, that help your muscles fire. ATP is your body's energy currency. So when you contract a muscle, when you stand up, when you do a squat, lift, even walk, you are using ATP. But ATP gets used up very quickly, like within seconds. Creatine exists in muscles as phosphocreatine, and it donates a phosphate group to ADP so that it can regenerate the ATP rapidly. So creatine is this little donator, like, hey, you need a little more energy? Here you go. Right? So creatine is not building muscle directly. It's allowing your energy system to recharge faster. So that means better strength output, better training quality, better recovery, better long-term muscle preservation. And that is so important when you are losing weight, whether it's on a GLP-1 medication or any other way. You want to preserve your muscle preservation. Did I say that right? You want to preserve your muscle. You want to retain your muscle. And we'll get into that a little bit here in a little bit as to why that is so important when you are losing weight. Well, or just in general, why it's important to preserve your muscle. So creatine, we've already said that it's created in the body. Some of it is. Where it's used, your skeletal muscle, where it's stored, skeletal muscle in your brain. So you can also find it naturally in animal proteins. So I'm sorry if you're vegan or vegetarian, this really doesn't apply to your food sources, but creatine is found in chicken, in beef, pork, salmon, tuna. But here's the practical issue. You'd need roughly like a pound, like 1 pound of red meat to get maybe 1 or 2 grams of creatine. And the effective daily dose is around 3 to 5 grams. So unless you're eating multiple pounds of steak every day, supplementation is simply a more realistic way to saturate muscle stores. And if you're on a GLP1, your appetite's lower, so that's probably not in the realm of reality to eat that kind of, or that amount of food. And sometimes for some people, their protein intake is often lower, even though we try to aim to get the amount of protein that is necessary for our own bodies. A lot of times in the beginning, especially, that protein plummets. So, which means natural creatine intake may be lower also. You can do the math that way. You can see how that would make sense. So now let's talk about the big fear. Creatine increases intracellular water. Yes. It does not. Oh, let me back up. I said that wrong. Water weight. Let's start with water weight. Let's do that. Creatine increases intracellular water. That is that is water inside the muscle cell, not outside. This happens because creatine increases what is called intracellular osmotic pressure. It basically sucks in water. It draws water into the muscle cell. This is called cell volumization. Women out there, they want like the plump rump, is what I call it. Well, in order to accomplish that without surgery, without a BBL, would be muscle plumpness, right? It's going to need cell volumization. And here's what's powerful. Cell hydration is not cosmetic. So the plump rumpers out there, yeah, it can be cosmetic for you, but in reality, cell volumization is not cosmetic. It is anabolic signaling. Hydrated muscle cells show improved glycogen storage, improved protein synthesis signaling, and reduced protein breakdown. And that's a big deal when you are trying to lose weight, when you are trying to become more metabolically healthy. So this is not the same as extracellular water retention. Okay, that's when you see extracellular water retention, that's what you see before your period, after a high sodium day, after consuming alcohol, after a high carb refeed. That is bloat. Creatine does not cause bloat. So remember, intracellular, drawing it into the actual cells and hydrating the muscle cell, versus extracellular water, which is outside the cell. Creatine pulls water inside the cell where metabolism happens. So yes, the scale may go up 1 to 3 pounds initially, but that's not fat. That's not inflammation. That is muscle hydration. And the body stabilizes. We have to stop being short-sighted when it comes to the scale, because muscle hydration is metabolic insurance. I'm going to say that one more time so it sinks in. Muscle hydration is metabolic insurance. So this is where I really want you to lean in. Your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, is heavily influenced by lean body mass. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. When women lose weight rapidly without protecting muscle, they will lose lean mass. When lean mass decreases, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, decreases. Total daily energy expenditure, we hear a lot of TDEE, that also decreases. So you just won't have the energy. So then your total daily energy expenditure goes down, and fat regain increases. That risk goes up because you aren't preserving your lean body mass. So on a GLP1, calories drop. And while that helps with fat loss, it also increases the risk of lean mass loss if we're not intentional. And I say that in relation to a GLP1, but that's across the board. Anytime you lose weight, you run the risk of losing lean mass. So it's not because of the medications, it's because of weight loss, period. Creatine has consistently been shown to improve strength output, increase lean mass during resistance training. So when you're out there pumping iron, it's going to help increase lean mass during that training, and it reduces muscle loss during calorie restriction. We are naturally restricting those calories because the noise in our brain has calmed down. We're no longer impulsive. We're no longer obsessed. We just eat when we're hungry. And that's what like normal people do. And that's all we really want to be, is normal. So all these things are happening. And so we need to preserve what we can preserve. And creatine is a key player in that. So I want you to ask yourself, do you want fast scale loss? In the beginning, I'm like, yes, please get this fat off my body. I don't want it anymore. I just want to be normal sized. I get it. I get that strong desire to just be freaking normal. I get it. But you have to ask yourself, long term, remember, this is the long game. Do you want fast scale loss, or do you want long-term metabolic stability? Because we're not trying to just weigh less. We are trying to preserve metabolically active tissue so that fat loss can continue in the background long term. That is my long game. That is my long game. So we've touched on how it helps us muscle-wise, metabolic-wise. But creatine isn't just about muscle. About 5% is stored in the brain. The brain is a bit of like an energy gremlin. The brain is energy hungry. It's a little goblin when it comes to energy. Creatine helps buffer energy demand in brain tissue by increasing the phosphocreatine availability. So research has explored creatine in cognitive fatigue. Raise your hand. I have it every day. Sleep deprivation. I struggle with sleep deprivation. Aging populations. Well, none of us are getting any younger. And mood support. I'm sure my husband would be like, please keep my wife in a good mood. So if you are in a calorie restriction, I really hate the word diet, only because the first three letters, D-I-E, that's all I have to say about that. So I'll say, if you're dieting, because I know maybe someone is watching who is not taking a GLP-1 medication. if your calories are lower, if your stress is higher. Supporting cellular energy production isn't frivolous. It is strategic. You need to bolster up, the troops in your brain, in your body, to help you support, to help support metabolic health, to eventually become more metabolically flexible. So like I said, I'm all about creatine, you can tell. So let's talk about dosing. The standard dose is 3 to 5 grams per day, not milligrams, grams. There's a couple of ways you can, well, there's probably more than a couple of ways, but I'll touch like maybe on a couple of ways. You can go about taking creatine. There's something called a loading phase, where some folks will take like 20 grams per day for, say, like 5 to 7 days. But it's not necessary, but you can load. You can also simply just take 3 to 5 grams daily, and your muscles will saturate within, a few weeks. I take 10. Mostly because when I started lifting, I wanted plenty for my skeletal muscle, and I wanted to lift heavy, and I wanted to sustain my energy. I have a mentally challenging or mentally demanding job. I do medical records all day where I'm like having to read and concentrate. So I wanted plenty for my brain as well. And I am 50 years old. So sometimes my brain is not hitting on all cylinders. Just ask my children. And so I wanted something to support not only my physical, muscle, part of my body. I wanted my brain to be supported as well. And creatine monohydrate is the gold standard. You don't need flashy, influencer marketed, overpriced versions of creatine. I take one from a company called Hearthy, Hearthy. I get it off of Amazon. You can get it on their website, but I find that it's actually less expensive just ordering it from Amazon. I don't have any affiliation with the company at all whatsoever. I don't have any affiliation with any companies. I just really like it. It's simple, it's straightforward. It comes in like a 1 pound bag, and it's affordable. It's like, I don't know, 10 to 12 bucks. You should not be paying $60 for some sparkly little canister of creatine. It's creatine. It's one of the most studied, safest, most affordable supplements available for healthy individuals. I do realize that some people should not take it. If you're pregnant, if you have kidney issues, you need to seek the advice of your healthcare provider anytime. I mean, even if you are healthy, run it by your healthcare provider. Now, some healthcare providers, truth be told, they aren't really all that educated about supplements. I am very thankful that my primary care physician is. So do your research. There's plenty of articles out there about the benefits of creatine. I know Harvard studies, but there's lots of science journals that have them. I wouldn't go to necessarily an influencer that's trying to sell you a product. Just do your basic research and be like, okay, how can this help me, preserve my muscle, help me with my overall performance, my athletic performance. I am not an athletic person, but lifting weights is an athletic activity. You're going on walking, my endurance, my ability to be able to focus is really important to me. So creatine has become a daily supplement for me. So here's the question. I want to wrap this up because it's been almost 20 minutes. So here's the question I want to leave with you. What is your long game? Are you afraid of the scale moving up temporarily, or are you more concerned about protecting your metabolism for the next 20 years? Because muscle preservation is not vanity. It's metabolic resilience. Creatine is not magic. It's not a shortcut. It's supportive. It is a supportive supplement. And when you understand the physiology, hopefully the fear starts to fade away from it. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'm really trying to build this community. I'm really excited to be a part of this community now. I'm a little late to the game since I've been on a GLP-1 treatment for almost a year. But if you are playing the long game and your metabolism, you're in the right place. So let's be honest. Would you rather see the scale drop faster or protect your muscle and metabolism long term? No judgment, but let's talk. If you are in it for the long game, drop a comment below and put long game. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.